What is up, everyone? It is Diecastbuffet here again. We're treated to another upset win. Chase Briscoe wins the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. Wow, that was cool to watch. Kyle Busch almost had it. Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch. For a moment, I thought we were about to get a Craven Kurt Busch type of finish where they dive bomb it in the corner and may the best fender kick out on the nose of the car wins, because that could have been a really cool finish there. But nonetheless, we'll be talking about all of this. There's a lot of playoffs, a lot of drama, a lot to talk about, guys. This has been one of the craziest 2 weeks I can remember in NASCAR history. Briscoe gets his second career win. His first win came at Phoenix in 2022. I think it was like the fourth win in the next gen era. It's been 94 races since then. Snaps that winless streak, gets another win at Darlington, one of the, if not the toughest racetrack in NASCAR. Awesome job for Briscoe. That race win diecast most likely will get produced. They've been making a bunch of Darlington race wins recently, so if you're a Briscoe fan, you might be in luck. Make sure to pre-order that over there at Circle B Diecast. Use promo code Diecastbuffet. So, let's talk Darlington. This was the cutoff race, the final race before the playoffs. First time, I think, since 2019, a race before the playoffs. It wasn't in the playoffs. Anyways, this was a phenomenal finish to a race. The Darlington Southern 500, there's always a portion of the event that doesn't have a lot of action if it's long green flag runs. But if you're really an old school NASCAR fan, you enjoy that. You enjoy the battle of attrition, the long green flag runs, and watching the drivers tackle Darlington. You know, 100 laps at Darlington is like a million times more interesting than 100 laps at a Martinsville or a Richmond. Green flag laps. Because you're always slipping, you're sliding, the tire wear, just seeing the drivers having to just tiptoe around the racetrack. If you've ever played a NASCAR video game, you would know what I'm talking about, and how the cars, every single lap, they get harder and harder to turn, and the back end starts stepping out. And you notice that during the runs, and it's really fascinating to watch. So it wasn't the most eventful Southern 500 ever. It wasn't. It was probably the least eventful one, maybe. But there was some drama in there. Buescher, Bubba, both missed the playoffs. That's crazy, because 23-11, I mean, Reddick's won, 2 or 3 races this year. The 23 car should easily be in the playoffs, but this is what happens. You get caught up in other people's nonsense. You get in a wreck or two. You start dropping points. You get an upset winner. I mean, I did a prediction on my Instagram. I was talking about who I think's going to win this race. I said Tyler Reddick. And then I was thinking, we could see a surprise tonight because it's Darlington. And sure enough, Stewart-Haas Racing, for the first time in, 2 years, finds victory lane with Chase Briscoe. A week after Josh Berry flipped at Daytona, Briscoe goes out there, wins the toughest NASCAR race on the schedule. Wins it, and it could be the final win for Stewart-Haas Racing. So what started, Pocono, I think, in 2009, might end in Darlington 2024 in terms of their first and last win. That is huge. That is huge right there for the SHR team. I'm glad they at least got a win. And then you think about Kyle Busch. He's got 10 races to win 1 race to keep his streak alive. That's going to be really difficult to do, I think. And then Kyle Busch, 2 weeks in a row, got second place. I picked Kyle to win Daytona last week. He got second place. He did not dump Burton, which I give, kind of props to for not doing so. I got to be honest with you. I don't think he wanted it bad enough. And if I was a really big Kyle Busch fan, I would be kind of disappointed because he didn't do everything possible to win this race. I'm not saying, Richmond 2024 Austin Dillon, but I feel like he could have cut the corner a little bit sharper, gassed up the car, and then braked right before he hit Briscoe, and they could have been side by side, fender well to fender well, and it wouldn't have wrecked Briscoe, but they would have been side by side, and it would have kind of been a Craven Kurt Busch 03 situation. Kyle didn't do that. He drove deep in the corner, but he was not willing to hit him. I applaud him trying to race respectful because historically speaking, Kyle Busch has been known as one of the more aggressive or villain drivers, if you will, whether you like him or not. That's just how it is. So I applaud him for that, but if I was a huge Kyle Busch fan, I'd be very disappointed. I know if this was Chase Elliott doing it, I would be very disappointed because I'd want them to do everything in their power. Again, I was okay with Richmond 2024. It's going to be talked about till the end of time, probably, that whole incident. I was okay with Austin Dillon doing it. Kyle Busch didn't do everything, in my opinion, that he could have done to pass Briscoe, but Harrison Burton and Chase Briscoe have won the last 2 NASCAR races. Think about that for a second. That is crazy. And there was a realistic scenario that Truex could have missed the playoffs as well. He crashed out on lap 3, and you get the upset win. If the stage points and everything kind of worked its way out, Truex would have missed the playoffs as well in his final full-time season. A lot of drama for Darlington, and the playoffs haven't even started, which is kind of weird because it feels like the playoffs started tonight. As the last few years, it has been the opening race of the playoffs. So they're going to open it at Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is a plate track. They've already talked about and revealed the 2025 schedule for the Cup Series. Atlanta's not going to be in the playoffs. Watkins Glen's not going to be in the playoffs. Homestead's not going to be in the playoffs. So if you compare the 2024 schedule playoffs and the 2025 edition, the 2024 one is the craziest one that they've ever had in the playoff era. Doesn't matter if you go all the way back to 2004 when they started the chase for the Cup and the Nextel Cup Series era, and then you go to the 2024 year. It's by far the craziest one because what if they go to Watkins Glen and it rains? We could get a crazy upset win. Atlanta Superspeedway next Sunday, going to probably be a boatload of crashes. What if Harrison Burton wins at Atlanta and he advances and then top drivers like Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott crash out? They're going to be behind the 8 ball and they're going to be trying to get points out of Watkins Glen and then the Bristol night race. What do they do at Bristol? Do they bring the soft tire and we have a crazy race like we had in the spring? Or are they going to bring more of a hard tire and have a very boring event like the North Wilkesboro All-Star race? That could decide the champion alone. Because if Bristol's chaotic, that's 2 wild card races in the round of 1. That is going to take out, I can almost guarantee you, a championship favorite. One of them's going to fall, right? And in round 2, you got Talladega, and then you have the Roval. So now you have back-to-back rounds with 2 wild card tracks in it. It's going to be bonkers. The Roval has been reconfigured. I don't know how that's going to affect it. It might make the racing more aggressive. It might make it less aggressive. I don't know. What I'm saying is the 2024 playoffs on paper should be the craziest one in NASCAR history based on schedule. 2025, you have Gateway, you have New Hampshire. Anyways, it's not going to be nowhere near as wild card centric as this year. So enjoy it. It's going to be fascinating. I think Tyler Reddick did win the regular season championship, so that is huge for that camp. But this is literally the year to have a upset champion. Like if there is a opportunity for a Chase Briscoe type of guy, I'm not saying he's going to win it, but a outsider to just walk into the playoffs and steal the show, this is that year because of the wild cards that we have. So I'm interested what y'all think. Make sure to comment down below. It is going to be a fascinating run to the playoffs. And I'll end my video on this theory, and not really a theory, but more of a kind of a partial rant. You know, it's fascinating to me how they start the playoffs right when the NFL season starts, and they put almost all of their races right at the same window. There's like 7 or 8 NFL games going on. So every single week in the playoffs, you're going to have your Atlanta race, your Watkins Glen race, you're going to have your Kansas, Talladega, all these races, championship, the Phoenix joint, during 7 other NFL games. NFL ratings are insanely high, right? The Daytona 500, the most watched NASCAR race, might get 7 or 8 million views. Last year, the Thanksgiving game for the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants got over 35 million views. Think about that for a second. Yes, I know that's Thanksgiving. Yes, I know everyone's watching. But that just shows you how popular NFL is. What I personally think NASCAR should do in the future is way more night races in the playoffs. Like I'm talking like 8 or 9 races playoffs. You look at the current schedule, a ton of them have lights at the track and they don't use it. Maybe Saturday night have the races, Sunday night, find a way to make it work. I know NBC has Sunday night football, so that kind of conflicts. There's got to be a happy medium. My point is, it's kind of crazy to go against the largest sport in America in terms of ratings. I'm just keeping it real. And I know as an NFL fan, I'm going to want to be watching football because I've been waiting all year to watch it and then try to watch NASCAR at the same time. But as soon as NASCAR goes on commercial, click, I'm going to go watch football. So what I'm trying to get at is in the future, I want to see more night races in the playoffs during the NFL season. And my last little tidbit to this, they should start the season, the whole NASCAR season, maybe 2 to 3 weeks earlier. Why? They used to do this back in the 90s. The Daytona 500 would be like the last couple days of January or the first couple days of February. So historically speaking, they've done it before, so it's not the end of the world. Move it back to a couple of weeks. You're going to be in Florida, so it's going to be fine weather-wise. Not going to be frigid, most likely. You could work around the NFL playoff schedule. You'll be able to trim maybe 2 to 3 weeks off the whole schedule itself. So that's 3 weeks you don't have to compete with NFL ratings. You don't have to compete with college football as well, because guess what? That's exploding this year with their expansion. And then you can maybe have 1 or 2 mid-week races in the summertime. People are not in school. People are out of class. X, Y, and Z. You know, if you have 2 races, like if there was Martinsville and Richmond, geographically very close to each other, have a midweek race. Maybe they could work that out. I don't know. But you could trim probably a month off the season, have the season end early October, maybe late September, still get your 36 to 38 race schedule, and guess what? You're not having to compete with the mountain of NFL ratings. So that's what I want to see in the future, something like that. Am I crazy? Probably. I'll be doing a playoff prediction video sometimes this week using the diecasts I have. Since they are so slow to get the Toyotas out, we probably won't have any of the current drivers' actual diecast, only the Chevy ones most likely. But I'll do a prediction video. There's like 100% guarantee it's going to be wrong. So just expect that. Thank y'all for watching. Have a blessed one, everybody. Make sure to comment down below. Huge congratulations to Briscoe for getting it done at Darlington. Atlanta's probably going to be bonkers, and I am all for it. I love some plate racing. That is all for now. I'm tired. I'm on like my, 5th cup of coffee. Yeah, I drink black coffee. I just drink coffee like crazy. That's all for now. Diecast Buffet. Signing off.